radiation. So, I know you have already prepared about the topic, so I am sure you are ready. I am talking also with Mr. Joey. Are you ready as the chairman? Okay, so I am telling you that you will be the chairman for this battle. And so the chance is yours. Our topic is all about radiation life threatening. Shall we use it or not? Okay, the floor is ready for our debate. You may start.
Good afternoon, everyone. Especially to our head of extracurricular activities, Madam Kathleen Manalis. Ma'am, good afternoon. To our Makabayan Department Head, Mr. Wilson J. Puserna, third. To our Science Teacher, Mr. Jokwe Singko. Friends, classmates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This afternoon marks the most memorable history as fourth-year student having this challenging, interesting, and enjoyable topic, which is a debate. Titled, the title, In Life Threatening, Shall We Use Radiation or Not? Radiation is very common. It is a form of energy that comes from man-made materials like TV and X-ray machines. It is also comes from natural resources such as sunshine, soil, rocks, water, and air, as well as even in outer space. Radiation is caused by atoms. Unstable atoms, as they become stable, the atom releases excess energy, and that energy is what we call radiation. The most common radiations that humans are exposed to are microwave, radio, visible light, and X-ray radiations. In our society, radiation plays a small but impactful effect. Radiation is a good thing and a bad thing. An example is that radiation is used to treat cancer, but can also the cause of cancer. This afternoon, we shall have a debate concerning the benefits and risks of radiation to mankind. I, myself, will stand as a chairman of this verbal battle as you exchange your substantial ideas and insights in defending your side. And now, let the battle of the brains begin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Believe it or not, radiation has helped a lot in the world. Here are some ways it helped. In agriculture, radiation has increased the production and volume of grain and cereals. How? Stocks of these crops are labeled with radioactive isotopes, increasing their growth. This use radioactives helping to relieve famine. Famine is a severe shortage of food resulting to hunger in third world countries. The picture I'm showing to all of you uh, is, is an example of drum-bay bark. Bark is released for commercial cultivation. It also helps in environmental sciences. Its radiation is used to measure pollutants in waters and rivers, and they are called radioactive tracers.
Good afternoon, everybody. It also helps in terms of electricity. Radiation helps in producing electricity through nuclear plants. 16% of the world's electricity is produced in nuclear plants. And in the US, 109 nuclear plants contribute 22% of the power grid. In medical diagnostics, radiation plays a big role in the medical field from X-rays, MRIs, and radio traces. By looking at the picture, we can really predict the relevance of radiation.
Good afternoon to each and everyone. Aside from the environmental science, it also helps in eradication of pests like flies. In Guimaras Island of the Philippines, they had a pest problem flies, but their populations have been drastically cut by the release of sterile metal flies. For example, that picture shows how sterilization of flies from radiation. In food, for all the carnivores out there nets and fly, like chicken and beef, that have been sterilized by irrigation have longer shelf life and is free of E. coli, a bacterium that killed children after they ate poorly cooked hamburgers.
Oil drilling. Radioactive isotopes are used to check steam quality and are used to inject defunct wells to take materials out. Polymerization of plastics. Plastics can be rated radioactively than being heat treated because they are used for dashboards which might rot in ice weather, especially in the summer. By looking at that picture, you can see the images of polymerization of plastics.
Can also be good in determining metal quality check. Metal parts such as store values can be determined if they are intact by radio photography instead of cracking them to check. In research in biology, radiation allows non-invasive tracking of drugs and elements throughout the body. The picture shows the images of photography from radiation.
Space power. If solar panels are useless, such as the dark sides of space plutonium batteries, batteries that radiation use as sources of power. This picture shows the variety of plutonium batteries from radiation. Treatment of cancer. Radiation can be directed to kill cancer cells and microbials, or even wipe out the cancer. So these are some of the benefits of radiation. It turns out it plays a big role in society. Without it, who knows what would happen?
As I listen and observe into the presentation of the proposition, I am really engrossed with important details regarding the importance of radiation. But this battle has just begun. Let us now hear the side of opposition group to defend their stand.
That picture, a huge smoke shaped like a giant mushroom, was the cause of atomic bomb during World War II in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan. Good afternoon to everyone. The most important, the risk from exposure to radiation is cancer. Much of our knowledge about the risk from radiation is based on studies of more than 100,000 survivors of the atomic bomb at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan, at the end of World War II. Our lives will become in danger because radiation will serve as their weapon in destroying their enemies.
Good afternoon to each and everyone. I'm going to show you nuclear accidents that have occurred. First, the 1952 Chalk River near Ottawa, Canada. Partial meltdown of the reactor's uranium fuel core. No injuries. Second, the 1957 wind scale file number 1 north of Liverpool, UK. 200 square miles became contaminated with radiation after a fire in a graphite-colored reactor. Third, the 1957 South Ural Mountains, Soviet Union. Weapons factory exploded, releasing radioactive waste 12 miles from the town of Kirchdem. 10,000 people were evacuated. According to authorities, there were no injuries. Then, let's go to the latest one, which happened last 2011. March 12, Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Station, Japan. Reactor number 1 exploded. One of the buildings collapsed completely shortly after a devastating earthquake and tsunami. The reactor's cooling system failed. Within 3 days, Two more explosions and a fire had everyone running around trying to keep the four reactors under control. The fire was contained, but some radiation leaked into the air. I am showing you these nuclear accidents because this is where radiation is produced. Our life will be washed out little by little because of this incident.
Good afternoon, everyone. Radioactive isotopes are costly. Today, the most common way to obtain radiation is through isotopes. Radioactive isotopes are very costly. Only big companies can afford them. Those prominent and wealthy people can afford to be treated on this kind of technology. I am showing this so that you will know the possible effects of radiation because you have the money to take the risk. It also represents the number of realms that radiation infected our body and effects on the body. You will notice the greater realms of radiation, the greater possibility of losing lives. These are the following radiation effects on the body for a given dose of radiation and REM radiation equivalent time. REM effects on body. 5 to 20 possible late effects, possible chromosomal damage. 20 to 100 temporary reduction in white blood cells. 100 to 200 mild radiation sickness within a few hours, vomiting, diarrhea, fatigue, reduction in resistance to infection. 200 to 300 serious radiation sickness effects as in 100 to 200 rem and hemorrhage. Exposure is a lethal dose to 10 to 30% of the population after 30 days. LD 1035/30. 300 to 400 serious radiation sickness also marrow and intestine destruction. LD 50 to 70/30. 400 to 1000 acute illness early death. LD 60 to 95/30. 1000 to 5000 acute illness early death in days. LD 100/10. Although such levels of exposure rarely happen, a person who is exposed to a large amount of radiation all the time could become sick or even die without hours and or days.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to each one of us. Did you know that much radiation can cause cancer? Too much radiation can cause a cell mitosis to speed up, which uncontrollably produce more cells damage will be later. Looking at the picture, example is to give a rough idea of how harmful and invasive. Would you like to become one of it?
Good afternoon, everybody. Radiation can damage health in ways other than cancer. It is less likely, but damage to genetic material in reproductive cells can cause genetic mutation, which could be passed on to future generations. Exposing a developing embryo or fetus to radiation can increase the risk of brain defects. Look at that picture. That are the images of birth defects of radiation. Those of that children has exposed a radiation. From a radiation. Would you like to have a family like that?
Exposure to radiation makes our bodies produce few blood clotting agents called blood platelets, and increasing our risk of internal bleeding. Any cut on skin will take much longer to stop bleeding. Experts that see that expert that approximately 50% of human exposed to 450 rems will die, and 800 rems will kill it virtually anyone. The fate of this is inevitable and will occur from between 2 days to a couple of weeks. That picture shows that we should not be exposed much with radiation because it is detrimental to our health.
Thank you so much for the opposition group for elaborating the negative side of radiation. We have learned different illnesses and effects caused by radiation. And now, let us give the floor for the report.
You have shared to us a while ago the benefits of radiations in mutations, eradication of pests, and the sterilization of food. According to the report from the Genetics Committee of the National Academy of Sciences and the Committee of Outstanding Scientists, the biological effects of radiation reported that atomic radiation, no matter how small the dose is, harms not only the person receiving it, but also all of his descendants. The basic fact is, and no competent person doubts it, that radiation produces mutations and that mutations are in general harm. It is difficult at the present state of knowledge in genetics to estimate just how much, what kind of harm will appear in next generations after mutant genes are introduced by radiation. Different genetics prefer differing ways of describing the situation, but they all come out with a unanimous conclusion that the potential danger is great.
Well, those are only hearsay. I don't believe in that. Why? Is it because for how many years past there were no reports that the use of mutation really lessen the lifespan of the people? In fact, it has already been used for how many years with this kind of technology. It really helped us in the production and transportation of our products.
You probably hear people talk about radiation both in fiction and in real life. For example, when the Enterprise's approaches a star on Star Trek, a member of a crew might warn about the radiation level. In Tom Clancy's book entitled The Hunt for Red October, the Russian submarine has a nuclear reactor accident with radiation leakage that forces the crew to abandon the ship. At 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl's nuclear power plants released radioactive substances into the atmosphere during nuclear accident. The 3 Mile Island was a piece of equipment that broke down, in which the press blew way out of proportion. The safety system worked and no one died, unless it was in a high rush during the evacuation. There was no disaster at 3 Mile Island, and Chernobyl happened because of the construction practices and operational procedures, in which they would never be allowed in a nuclear power plant in the West. That was isolated cases only.
I'm talking about cancer, genetic mutations passed down many generations, bodily, burns, wars, the last grandson. It is deadly. Stop, watch the movie, The House, The House of Ice. You will see what radiation can do to people. I'm talking children with dolls, 3 eyes, giant heads, not to mention nuclear bombs can wipe out nations. If you think there is a decent chance of conflicts or internal disruptions due to massive international debts, growing tensions over oil supplies, and or ecological degradation and climate change, I think it won't be happening because radiation helps our economy to grow like in agriculture, the use of mutation, and the sterilization increases their production. The products is free from growing microorganisms, which is exported to other countries. If this could happen, conflicts will not arise. The high value placed in radium.
the use of lithium in consumer items, the use of X-ray equipments in shoe stores, and the popularity of uranium glazes for casual dinnerware, you forget about the multiple uses of the word atomic to signify modernity.
Modernity is good, but shall we have to raise our lives and the lives of the future generation just for the sake of modernity? I'd say it's an imbecile in our part if we are only of the benefit from a number of people than sacrificing the whole nation.
Okay. We have witnessed the different arguments stated by the different groups. One should look at both sides of this story and then make a decision based on your values and beliefs. The main reasons why people like radiation it is because it helps in curing and detecting diseases, increases of food production, modern style of communication and transportation, and many others. The reasons why some don't like it because our lives is at stake as well as the life of future generations will affected due to radiation. Without using radiation, we are relatively safe and can go through with our entire lifetime without mishap. I hope that you learn a lot out of our debate and thank you for your time and effort. Once again.